After some of the fact-finding I've done to learn about Las Cruces, New Mexico, it occurred to me that a brief presentation would help me consolidate what I've learned while possibly helping others. The location of Las Cruces, New Mexico is ideal in many ways. The center of Las Cruces is just 53 miles and a 53-minute drive from the El Paso, Texas airport. It is also 47 miles from downtown El Paso, the 22nd largest city in the United States. El Paso has a population of 682,000 people. The Mexican border touches El Paso. So this means that Las Cruces is about an hour's drive from the Mexican border. To be honest, Texas is not one of my favorite states, but El Paso is an attractive city and a large city with many perks. Moreover, for reasons I'll explain later, it could be advantageous to live reasonably close to the Mexican border. By the way, my pronunciations in this video are probably irregular and perhaps at times erroneous. I find it difficult to say Las Cruces with an entirely American accent, but I should acknowledge that I have heard people, even people who look like they might be Latino or Latina, say something like Las Cruces without hesitation. I'm just trying to get used to that pronunciation. While I'm issuing caveats, I should also note that this video frequently reveals my idiosyncratic preferences. Because your preferences probably differ, hearing about the unique things that appeal to me may remind you that everyone thinking about moving has to figure out their geographic preferences for themselves. Las Cruces is a smaller city with 103,000 residents and is the second largest city in New Mexico. I enjoy cities that aren't as expensive or aren't as besieged by traffic as America's largest cities are. But I also enjoy cities that are large enough that you rarely need to leave town. Las Cruces is home to New Mexico State University and the Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine. The presence of a medical school gives me some confidence in the quality of the region's healthcare. Moreover, colleges and universities tend to economically stabilize the regions within which they're located. Through their community outreach, colleges and universities also tend to contribute to the well-being and personal development of nearby residents. In Las Cruces, New Mexico State University employs nearly 7,000 people. The White Sands Missile Range employs over 4,000 people, and the public school system and NASA combined employ about 5,000 people. This means that a substantial number of people in the region work in education, engineering, and science. According to citydata.com, 61% of the population of Las Cruces identifies as Hispanic, and about 33% identifies as white, with members of other racial groups constituting the remaining 6%. While I'm sure most people in Las Cruces speak English fluently, there are undoubtedly more Spanish speakers in Las Cruces than there are in most other cities in the United States. This could be good news for anyone who hopes that moving to the Southwest might give them a few more opportunities to practice their Spanish. Moreover, freely available pictures and travel reports confirm that the food, the architecture, the culture in Las Cruces contains as much Mexican and Native American influence as anyone should expect in this part of the United States. There seem to be no shortage of excellent restaurants in Las Cruces, and no, not all of them are Mexican, Tex-Mex, or Southwestern themed. The variety of cuisines looks good for a city of about 100,000 people. And again, El Paso isn't too far away if you crave the variety available in a much larger city. Educational activities available around Las Cruces include the Museum of Nature and Science, the Zool Museum, the Farmer and Crafts Market of Las Cruces, the New Mexico Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum, the Old Mesilla Village, and many nearby natural areas. The Thomas Brannigan Memorial Library in Las Cruces has a collection of over 160,000 books and 20,000 audio and visual materials. It's also well networked with other libraries. The cost of living in Las Cruces is reasonable. The median house or condominium value in 2020 is probably around $150,000. I'm adjusting for inflation. The median household income in 2020 is probably around $40,000. As always, there's great variability around these averages, but it seems clear that the cost of living in Las Cruces is lower than the U.S. average. People looking for a wealthier milieu in the area may be interested in the adjacent town of Mesilla. In Mesilla, the median home or condominium value in 2020 is probably around $280,000. And the median household income is probably around $55,000. That's extrapolating from data on citydata.com. Mesilla looks lovely and has lower crime than Las Cruces, but the cost of living is clearly lower in Las Cruces itself. It should surprise no one that Las Cruces has very hot summers and mild winters. The average high in July is around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. For everyone used to more sensible units of measurement, that's 34 degrees Celsius. The average high in January is 58 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 degrees Celsius. Those are averages. It does get above 100 degrees Fahrenheit on some days in the summer. It can also snow in the winter, but it rarely snows. The average snowfall in December is about an inch or 2.5 centimeters. People with experience living in the desert know that a little planning can make the difference between a pleasant summer day and a day that you feel baked like a flaming hot Cheeto. While the average high in July in Las Cruces is 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the average low in July is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. According to weatherunderground.com, on July 15, 2020 at 5 p.m. it was 101 degrees Fahrenheit. But at 6 a.m. it was 73 degrees, and at 9 a.m. it was 86 degrees. No wonder many people living in such climates get up early to get their outside activities done in the morning. Another strategy for coping with uncomfortably hot summer days is to go somewhere cooler. Las Cruces is 118 miles, or about a 2-hour drive, from Ruidoso, New Mexico. Ruidoso is known for its ski resort and is almost 7,000 feet, or 2,000 meters above sea level. In July, the average high in Ruidoso is 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or 28 degrees Celsius. There are several mountainous areas around Las Cruces. The Organ Mountains, which are a national monument, are visible from Las Cruces and just a 15-minute drive away. Additional mountainous areas within a 2-hour drive include the edge of Gila National Forest and Lincoln National Forest. Even closer are the Franklin Mountains adjacent to El Paso. Americans and Canadians often associate Mexico, the country, the nation of Mexico, with warmer temperatures due to the popularity of resort cities like Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta, and Cabo San Lucas. But Mexico is also full of beautiful towns and cities at high elevations. Lower cost, culturally rich travel destinations like San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato, Puebla, Oaxaca, and Mexico City have mild temperatures year-round. Retirees who plan to regularly enjoy Mexico can benefit from living close to the Mexican border. Across the river from El Paso, Texas, is Ciudad Juarez in Mexico's state of Chihuahua. The El Paso, Texas International Airport and the Ciudad Juarez International Airport are just 16 miles or about 26 kilometers apart. After searching flights and comparing fares, I discovered that with careful planning, an American destined for a popular Mexican travel destination can realize savings of 30 to 60% by flying out of Ciudad Juarez instead of El Paso. The savings are apparently not as great when flying to countries outside of Mexico, but they are still worth checking. I occasionally found slightly discounted fares from Ciudad Juarez to European cities. Let me note at the conclusion that every move involves trade-offs. Like all cities, Las Cruces has some features I don't care for. The most obvious is that the summers are hotter than I would prefer. It's also true that cities in the desert can seem too drab and dusty to me at times. Statistics show that the overall crime rate in Las Cruces is slightly above the average for U.S. cities. It's also disappointing that Mexico is just about an hour away from Las Cruces. But the state of Chihuahua is not one of Mexico's most appealing regions to me, nor is it one of Mexico's safer regions. Choosing a retirement destination requires a highly personal and clear-eyed assessment of advantages and disadvantages. Dwelling only on the advantages of a place sets people up for disappointments. So far, I feel like the advantages of living in Las Cruces outweigh the disadvantages. But several visits and several more years of studying the area will help me decide whether to retire there.